Selector, spread, WIXOSS. I don't even know what to say. I'm being honest. I don't even know what to fucking say. Hands down, I want to be just straight up with all of you. If I wasn't a fanboy to Fate, and I really did not like the story of Parasite, like if I wasn't so into Parasite story, this would be number 1 of this season. Hands down. And probably I'm still tempted to say it's number 1. This episode, the reveals, the music, the thought-provoking sentences and dialogue, the character personality of Ulif. This episode of Selector, Spread, WIXOSS, I want to just say straight up right at the beginning, to save you the trouble waiting to the end, 10 out of fucking 10. 10 out of fucking 10. I'm not fucking kidding. This is an honest 10 out of fucking 10. 10 out of fucking 10. Hands down. Not even joking at all. I would go higher if there was a real possible rating. 10 out of 10. Okay. Getting on to this episode. Ulif. Her personality. Her twisted fucking personality. I was watching this episode. I started the episode, standard WIXOSS, it's been having those dark vibes and themes as it always has. It usually does. I continue with the episode. I get about 4 or 5 minutes in, and I see Ulif doing monologuing about how she loves sorrow, pain, agony of the people she hurts. She loves leaving scars on the people she breaks, but a scar you can't see on the surface. A scar on the inside. She loves driving people to the point of madness, hurting them, breaking them down emotionally to where they go to a certain extent to even kill themselves. That is the type of personality Ulif has. And people tell me this series is fucking dark. I fucking called this shit. I called this dark shit since the first episode of Selector Infected WIXOSS. I called this dark atmosphere. Fucking hands down. This is by far top 10 of this year of anime. The hands down Selector Infected, Selector Spread WIXOSS. Depending on how the ending it goes with Selector Spread, this is definitely in my top 10 favorite anime from this year of anime. No, there's no question. No fucking question. At all. Just the psychological elements of Ulif and the other characters that come into play, like Aki Lovely. Her mental breakdown in this episode. She's gonna kill someone. I've said it. I've said it enough. And it's obvious. She just got pushed to the very fucking brink to where she either is going to kill herself or she's gonna kill someone. That's literally the part when you see her saying like, I'm slightly, you know, I look disgusting, stuff like that, when she has her head down. And she's remembering what Ulif said to her. She's breaking down mentally. You can see it. And then, of course, the scriptwriter and the overall producers of this series are making sure we key in on this element of Aki Lovely breaking down in this episode. They made sure to show her breaking down like 6 or 7 times this episode. That's not a bad thing. What that means is there's a lot of importance with this aspect. For them to draw attention to these scenes, this is going to have some major repercussions next episode. What's going to happen when Aki Lovely snaps back to her senses? I mean, she's going to be fucking psycho as she always is, but what is she going to do now that she's in this mental state? Like, when someone is prone to a mental state like this, like where they're crazy or they're broken and falling after someone like a lost puppy, and then when you have this person you admire, you know, crush you, what is the normal action someone usually takes? Retaliation. Attacks back, strikes back. And that's exactly what Aki Lovely is probably going to do. Because if Udif says any more to Aki Lovely and says, like, I don't like you, or you look disgusting, and she continues to do that, she does one more fucking sentence, one word that sits wrong with Aki Lovely, she will probably kill Udif. There's a lot of reasons why. This episode foreshadows that. It actually foreshadows something bad going down. A death or something. Beginning of the episode. Udif comes in and says, oh, this is, you know, not to my expectations. Like, I'm very disappointed. That's pretty much what Udif says to Aki Lovely at the beginning of this episode. She wanted something much worse. Something a lot worse when it comes to despair and hatred and sorrow. And so, that hints at she wanted even worse. Like, she wanted Hitoe even worse off. Like, she wanted her broken. And that overall foreshadowing right there is like the opposite to what is going on with Aki Lovely. She might decide to break something called Udif. Now, let's talk about something real quick. It's obvious the way this is setting up is that Aki Lovely will attack her. It's obvious. When you eventually mess with the wrong person, especially with someone that doesn't have a good mental state, they will fucking attack you. And that's obvious. If Aki Lovely is willing to go this far to attack Hitoe for someone she cares about, what is going to happen when the person she cares about turns against her? Okay. Udif. When she starts talking, when she spoke in this episode after I found out about her personality, I was terrified. I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I mean, when you see the symbol representation of the rig world, like when you see all the girls falling, like the girls' dreams that Udif has crushed herself, and you see them falling through the fucking sky, the atmosphere, the music, the freaking red background. The music alone, it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh my god, this music. I like, the music, the atmosphere of this episode was just so vastly different from previous episodes. Like, they went all in. They went in, on point in this episode. They didn't fucking give a damn. They wanted to put the point across that this series is not just an average card game series. Or it's not about these characters being turned into cards. No. This episode went all in to show us how dark this series can be, and it can possibly get even darker since we're reaching the conclusion of this series. The thing is, just the way it showed how Udif got off on crushing people, breaking them, and wanting them to drive them to suicide is disgusting. Oh my god. What a perfect villain. I couldn't be any happier when it comes to Udif's character. She's sick and twisted, and that's exactly what I want from a dark series, with psychological elements tagged onto it. That's exactly what I want, and WIXOSS delivered. They fucking delivered. That's exactly what I've asked. The villain. Twisted. Fucking twisted. Oh my god, twisted. Another thing. Let's move on. Let's move on past these elements. Let's talk about other things. Okay. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. The ending, for one thing. I bet all of you are wondering why I haven't decided to talk about the ending yet, since I've been all into this theory crafting with the girl of white and the girl of black. Well, I wanted to save that for a little bit, because it's going to be a little bit of theory crafting. Okay. We find out that the girl of black and the girl of white, or the girl of light, white or light, whatever, the girl black and white were once one. We knew this. Last episode was revealed. With this episode, we find out the person they came from. Now, my theory crafting, I said it might have been Ruko. That's who I said. Or it could have possibly been Tama or something. I had a lot of theories going on. It's something just does not add up with this episode, which I'll get into in just a moment. But we find out Futase was the original girl. She was the original girl that was the girl of white and the girl of black. And the strange thing is that she disappeared pretty much. And she split into two different beings, Iona and Tama. The thing is that Mayu is the mother of either Iona and Tama or Futase in general. I don't know what type of mother she is. I don't know if she's the mother of the original human body, or is she the mother of the two new beings that came out of Futase? That is the question I'm wondering right now. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about. There's some things that are just not adding up whatsoever. Nothing is adding up. Like, there's certain things that are leaving a big hole in this story. Ruko. What happened in the past? That dark past they hinted at the beginning of the first season, it wasn't there for nothing. I highly doubt it. And so, what is Ruko's, part in this story? What is she? Who is she? What is her part? Another question. What happened beforehand, before these events of the girl of black and the girl of white? Let me explain. I actually have some notes here, because I don't want to forget certain elements of this episode, because that's just how thought-provoking this episode was. Yeah, it's getting on that Hunter x Hunter level somewhat. Okay, something I want to talk about. Supposedly, what Mayu stated is that the girl of black, Fiona, mixing with light in this episode. Mayu stated that this happened before. It's happening again. That means that a long time ago, the girl of black once became the girl of white, or had mixed. And this brings to question a theory I noticed a couple Chibits brought up last week. I even was wanting to mention it last week, but I decided to not do it, and I actually kind of forgot a little bit about it. It's never completely stated that there could only be one girl of black and one girl of white. It's never been specifically stated, has it? Has it ever? No. So, here's the question. Since this has happened before, I'm going to take a theory. Mayu, once the girl of black, mixed with light. And there you go. Mayu, at one given point, was the girl of white and the girl of black mixed into one. So, with this episode, that's what it hints at. There was a previous girl of black and a girl of white. And, like I said, the overall connection with Ruko, it leaves a lot of questions. Like, I'm still fucking wondering, what the fuck? And then they bring up a story, let me see what it exactly says. Okay, Iona says this. Once a girl in solitude, the moment she was born into the world. Not loved or touched by anyone. Okay, this girl of solitude, they're hinting at Mayu, because we see a flashback of a younger-looking version of Mayu before she was stuck into this realm, this WIXOSS realm, this other dimension. And the thing is that really her? And if that is her, how'd she get in that realm? How'd she get in this dimension? What happened? We gotta wonder that. We really gotta wonder how she got in this dimension. How was this dimension created? How did this all happen? How did this entire WIXOSS game even start? A lot of questions we all have to take a moment to think about. Another thing is there's hints at what Udlif says in this episode. Says, wouldn't it be nice if the entire world was a battlefield? I made a theory on my final review of Selector Infected WIXOSS. I remember the fury. I remember it so freaking hard. I remember after the ending song, they revealed the title of Season 2 of WIXOSS called Selector Spread WIXOSS, and instantly I thought of this fury. I want to try to remember my fury. I said that since the title of Selector Spread WIXOSS is now called Spread instead of Infected, the first season was to infect the WIXOSS game around other players, pretty much. Infect selectors. The second season was called Spread WIXOSS to spread the game into the real world. Because we saw actual visuals of how the game actually came into the real world in the first season. You remember the crane part in the skyscraper where Iona and Ruko fought on top of the tower? We actually saw the building. Actually, I think glass broke. Stuff was breaking in that fight while they were in the game playing. You saw things breaking. Actually breaking in the real world. So, that's the thing. We know that the real world can get affected by the game. So, that overall talk by Ulif hints at maybe my theory could be possible. Maybe Mayu's objective and Ulif's objective is to spread the game of WIXOSS to everybody. And it would explain the opening first scene of Selector infected. The reason why I came up with this theory is because of the first scene of the first season on the very first episode. The first fucking scene. We see a demonic-looking version of Tama. A demonic-looking version. And Ruka wakes up. But the, place she sees is the entire city and the WIXOSS game. And that's why I have that theory. So that could be possibly the endgame goal for Mayu. That could be her objective. Since she's, been living in solitude, of course she wants to bring other people into her misery. And so, of course, she would want to spread out to everybody to make them join the misery. So, yeah. Besides that, the episode. Fucking good. Oh my god. WIXOSS, man. Like I said last week, this is by far one of the most thought-provoking series I am currently watching. Hands down. It makes me think. I don't even know how long this video is. Most likely it's already over 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know how long it is right now. But this is one of the very few series that makes me think really fucking hard. Like, when I'm watching a series, I'm expected to think. If you go walk into this show not thinking, you'll probably miss a couple aspects and stuff that's going on in the series. And I like that. I love that a lot. I love series that make me think, especially series like this. So, yeah. 10 out of 10 episode. Cannot wait to see what happens with, the reveal that Iona and Tama's mother is Mayu. Can't wait to see exactly what's going to go on. Hopefully my theories might prove a little bit true with, maybe Mayu once being the girl black and white. There was another girl black and white. Let me know in the comments below how you felt about this week's episode. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.